Hey guys, follow me on this journey as I let AI teach me DevOps from zero to hero, or at least from zero to I know a little bit. I know that AI can help me a lot with this, both teaching and also what I need to learn, because I've already tested this out before when I let Clio help me build a static blog locally and then deploy to a live server on Amazon Web Services. We even set up automated deployment together. So I learned a little bit through this, but I would still be lost if I tried to do this alone. So in this series, I'm actually going to make the AI teach me something and not just do something for me. I vaguely know what DevOps do, since I've been a developer for 15 years now, but I still don't know a lot about CI/CD, infrastructure, containerization, security, etc. So I need AI to teach me this. So I'm going to use Clio and my AI assistant as my teacher. And the cool thing about this is that if I'm stuck, I can ask as many questions as I want. I can ask her to provide me with YouTube videos that I can watch to dive more into stuff. I can make her come up with hands-on tasks that I can do. And I don't even have to be that annoying student that always asks the teacher for something to do. So the first thing I'm going to do now is to just boot up Clio and ask her what I need to learn in order to become a DevOps engineer. So if you want to try this yourself, you can go to github.com/gptscript-ai/Clio. Here you will find installation guides and similar. So when you have Clio running on your computer, you can just start talking to her like you would ask a teacher in real life. So I want to become a DevOps engineer. Can you briefly describe 8 topics that I can learn about? Absolutely, she says. Here are 8 important topics to get you started on your journey to becoming proficient in DevOps. 1. Version control systems, or VCS. Here I can learn how to use control systems like Git, which is fundamental for tracking changes in your code and collaborating with others. The key tools here are Git, GitHub, GitLab, and Bitbucket. Part 2 will be CI/CD. So here I will learn about the principles to automate the process of integrating code changes, testing, and deploying deploying applications. Key tools here are Jenkins, GitHub Actions, GitHub CI, etc. Part 3 will be containerization, where we learn how to package applications and its dependency into containers. Here are the key tools Docker and Podman. Number 4 will be orchestration, where we learn more about Kubernetes or Docker Swarm. And this is done for managing and automating scaling and deployment and operation of containers. Part 5 will be infrastructure as code. And this is code to manage and provision infrastructure, making it easier to automate and scale. Tools here are Terraform, Ansible, CloudFormation. Next up is number 6, which will be cloud providers. Here I need to just dive a little bit into the different ones, for example AWS, Azure, Google Cloud Platform, and DigitalOcean. Number 7 will be monitoring and logging. So here I need to learn how to implement monitoring and logging to keep track of the performance, troubleshoot issues, etc. The tools here are Prometheus, Grafana, and Splunk. Then, last but not least, we have security, which is then learning the best security practices for applications and infrastructure. So there are no tools here, but the concepts are to secure coding practices, secrets management, network security, etc. So, as you heard here, these are 8 different topics. And based on what I read, I think this can be a good list of topics. I think that if I learn the basics of all of these, I will have a good understanding of what DevOps do, and maybe I'm even capable of doing some of them myself. Each of these 8 topics will be one video, or the first part will be a part of this video, but the rest will be one video each, one per week. Before I start diving directly into part 1, I just want to ask Clio if there's something I should know before I start working on this. Are there anything I should know before we start working on this? Yes, there are a few prerequisites and additional consideration that can help you on your DevOps journey. Basic programming knowledge. I already have that. I've been a programmer for 15 years. Basic Linux command line skills. That is also something I have. I know most of the basic commands, how to search, go back in the folders, create new folders, and a little bit more than that. 3, which is networking fundamentals. Here we're going to learn about what an IP address is, DNS, firewalls, load balancers, etc. So I know what this is, but I don't know much about this, but I think I know enough to just say that I can do this. And then understanding the software development cycle, life cycle. So this is just to know that, for example, that you do locally development, you maybe have a staging server and then a production server. And there's also a few additional consideration like mindset and culture, soft skills like problem solving, communications and teamwork. Understanding how important it is to have a community you can ask questions and similar. I guess that here I have the AI that can help me with this. Hands-on practice. This is something I hope that I will get through this series because I want to ask Clio to find hands-on projects that I can learn for each of the different parts, so I just don't sit here and read. Documentation and learning resources. You need to be good at learning and reading documentation. Hopefully this is also something Clio can help me with, to just find documentation for me when I have specific questions, etc. So I think this was a good answer, and it makes a lot of sense that this is things that I should know before I proceed. I guess that I could start off even more basics than the 8 different topics that I was not mentioning before, but yeah, I think this is good. So far I have learned what I need to know to become a DevOps engineer. And I know a little bit about where we are going to go through the next couple of weeks. This is a way that I've never tried to learn something new, so the way I'm going to learn now will also be very interesting, because it's a very cool way to learn stuff, just not watching on videos. So I hope this series sounds interesting, and if it does, please hit subscribe below so you can follow me on this journey. After this, I'm going to jump into part 1, where we're going to learn about version controlling systems. Okay, so now we're going to dive into VCS, or version control systems. In the intro we saw a brief description of what this actually is, and here's the exact answer. We're going to learn how to use a version control system like Git, and this is fundamental for tracking changes in your code and collaborating with others. Some known tools are Git, GitHub, GitLab and Bitbucket. Okay, so I've been a developer for more years than I can count on my fingers, so obviously I've used version controlling systems. Actually, it might not be obvious to everyone. I've met some developers who have never used them before. So if you're a developer or an aspiring DevOps engineer, this series, or at least this part, could be interesting to you. So I want to learn the very basics of VCS, so I will just ask Clio what she can teach me about the basics. Okay, let's start with learning the basics of version control systems. Yeah, so here again you can just see some brief information of what this actually is. Typical key concepts like repositories, committing, branching, merging, cloning, pull and push. A little bit information about some modern or known tools, Git, Subversion, Mercurial, never heard about, and typical Git commands that you use. This is probably the most used Git commands out there, and you can see a little description of what this actually does. So yeah, a VCS is a system that records the changes to a file or set of files over time, so you can recall specific versions later. And that's also typical if I'm working on a project with someone. I can do my changes, commit it to the database, to the Git repository, and I can pull it on their computer and see the code and run it. Can we do some hands-on to learn about these basics? Because I like to learn about doing, so learn with the doing and not just the reading. So maybe there is something we can try here. Yeah, okay, cool. There's a 9-step procedure here. Let's split this here. First we need to install Git. I'm pretty sure that I have Git on my computer. So git -- version, yeah, 239. Hopefully that's a new one. Step 2, configure Git. Let's just copy this. Stein over Helset. And the same with email. Stein over Helset, gmail.com. Okay, good. Okay, then we can initialize the repository. Yes, mkdir my first repo, cd my first repo, git init, initialized empty git repository. Cool. So that means that now I have a repository there. Create a file and make a commit. Echo hello git into a file called hello.txt. Forgot to close that. ls. Need to set it there. Oof. Sorry, txt like that. Now I can run ls cat hello git. Perfect. So I can add this to the staging area and commit it to the repository. Git add hello git commit added hello.txt to the repo. Git status. So I'm still on branch main, nothing to commit. Okay, what about git log? What does that do? So this is the latest thing that's been done to the repo. Cool. Edit the file. Okay, let me just copy this, paste it here. If I now run git status, what happens then? Then you can see here that this is modified. Okay, git add hello git commit updated hello.txt. Okay, so then now you want to learn about branching. So a branch is typically used when you have, for example, e-commerce website and then you want to, for example, integrate a new payment gateway. Then you might want to branch out, so it's easier to keep track of what you've actually done. Git branch new feature, git checkout new feature, git checkout main. I want to check out this and merge it back again. Git merge new feature. Already up to date. Okay, git status. Yes, that's correct. If you have a remote repository, you can push your changes. Maybe I should go there and create one. Not there, but there. Create new repository. Clio testing. Public, yes, create. So then, yes, you can see here, this is the same command as we see down here. So I can just copy this, paste. Git remote in directory. Yes, I want to allow you to. Sorry, I was supposed to do it here actually. Let me do it there. Git status, git remote -v. So you can see here that the origin is this one on actually GitHub. And then we can push it. Git push -u origin main. go back here and refresh, and then we should see hello.txt. So if I didn't know this from before, I would probably wonder what I have done now. So can you explain in a few sentences what we actually did now? Not the last one, but the steps I went through. Okay, so we ensured that it was installed. We configure it with my name, which are used to identify our commits. Okay. We plan to create a new directory, initialize a Git repo, which is the first step in tracking changes. Okay, so that's what first thing we always need to do. We intended to create a file, add it to the staging area, and then we commit it to the repository. So then it just, when we're done this, it records a snapshot of the file. Okay. We plan to check the status. Yeah, so here we learned about how we could understand what has happened. Then we made changes to the file again and pushed it. Create a branch. Okay, merged them, and then we submitted everything to GitHub. Perfect. Thanks. Why is VCS so important? So it's collaboration, yes. History and readability, backup and recovery. Yeah, great. Branching. Checking code quality and review, CI/CD, distribution and development. So as you can see, here are actually many very good reasons that everyone should use VCS when they are developing something. And it becomes even more important when you're working on more than just your solo projects. Okay, so now I know why VCS are so important, and I've learned the basics about creating a new repo, changing the code and pushing it. Yeah, so far I haven't actually learned anything new because I knew everything of this before, but I think that's a great thing because this way I can actually verify that what she's trying to teach me is correct. I went through the commands and it's cool to see how she explains everything to me. So if I was a beginner, I think I would understand most of this. So that's good. So what's next? After this brief intro to VCS, what would be the next steps? Okay, so as you can see here, the next steps then would be to learn more advanced Git commands, for example, rebase, cherrypick, stash, and bisect. Understand how to resolve merge conflicts, branching strategies, more about collaborations, CI/CD. Okay, maybe we can try to go through some of this. Apply your skills to a real-world project. That's probably a very good a way to learn more about this. Let's see what more we can do here. I have a Git repo now with one simple text file. Can you come up with an example of how I can test stashing? There. Certainly, Git stash is a powerful feature that allows you to temporarily save changes that do not want to commit. Okay, so if I do anything that I don't want to commit, but I don't want to delete the changes either. So, okay, let's try to do this. vi example.txt. This is a temp file, save and close. So now so git status. It will say that this has not been committed yet. Okay. Git stash. Git status. No. Git status. Git stash. Why is that not git add example.com. It might be because this is a new file, so let's git status again, git stash, said working directory and went back to there, git status. So now we're back here with only this file. Okay, so if I then scroll up again and for example see git stash list, then you can see we have this stash here. We're ready to continue working on the stashed changes. Okay, so I can either do this to get the file back, or I can do this to actually delete it. Git stash apply, and then we have this new file there. Okay, git commit new test git push. So then I learned a little bit about stashing, and what else was she talking about? It was cherry picking and something else, if I can find it here. No, it's just look like an infant there. Rebase. For more merging is something it's typically very often do as developers. Can you come up with a new example to teach me about merging? Okay, let's begin here. So I'm on this single branch and I have these two files, example and hello. Create a new branch called feature branch. Okay, so we just copy this command, paste it, make changes in the new branch. Vi example changes in the feature, not future but feature. Git add example, git commit add feature to example.txt, git status. Then we have nothing to commit anymore. Git checkout main. So then I'm back here, so I'm out of that branch. Okay, so now I need to open this file again and make one change. Vi example.com. This comes from the main branch. Save and quit. Then we need to add this to the git again. Commit. So git status. Your branch is ahead. Okay, so merge the feature. Okay, so now I want to merge it with that change. Then I get a conflict. Okay, so then how can I resolve this? Open and look for conflict markers. Vi example.txt. Okay, so here you can see that this comes from where I am now, the head, and this comes from the feature branch. So if I do that now, git add example, git commit, resolved conflict, git push. Verify the merge. Let's see git log to see what this says now. Yeah, feature branch, added that to there, and then I resolved it. Perfect. So if I go here now, resolved conflict, it looks like everything is working as it was supposed to. Perfect. Okay, so we have now went through the basics of Git. There are also a lot of other commands. For example, git diff, reset, checkout. But I think this should do for now. I don't want to bite over too many commands at once. I think that this way I can come a long way. I just want to go here. And I now feel that I know the basics. What is the next steps to learn more in depth? Can you recommend some YouTube videos? Okay, it was a little little bit messy this here, but you can see here that I got some videos already. For example here, how can I learn advanced Git concepts? Let's try opening up this one. Literally just read a ProGit book, okay. Yeah, course. So you can see here are many good resources, and she even gave me 2 playlists on YouTube. Books, for example, read ProGit by Scott Chacon and Ben Straub. Online courses there, YouTube tutorials. Hands-on practice is crucial. Try contributing to open source project, yada yada yada. Okay, so I think this was a good introduction to Git. At least if you follow along and do all of this yourself and not just to watch what I do. So in the next part of this series we'll be learning about CI/CD, or continuous integration / continuous deployment. This is something I know what is, but almost never touched in real life, so this will be exciting to learn more about. See you in the next video.